Spinach. When heart medicine becomes powerless, if you're over 60 and taking blood thinners for your heart, whether it's warfarin, aspirin, or another prescription, what I'm about to share could be the difference between staying protected and facing a dangerous complication. Spinach, that bright green superfood we've all been told to eat for decades, isn't the villain. But after 60, your body doesn't process foods the way it once did. What was once a shield for your health can now quietly work against you, especially if it interferes with your medications. Here's why. Spinach is packed with vitamin K, a nutrient essential for blood clotting. Under normal circumstances, that's a good thing. But if you're taking blood thinners, particularly warfarin, Coumadin, too much vitamin K can cancel out your medication's effect. In other words, the very food you believe is protecting your heart could be making your medicine powerless. Warfarin is designed to thin the blood and prevent dangerous clots. But large or inconsistent amounts of spinach and other vitamin K-rich greens can tip the balance, putting you at risk for strokes, heart attacks, or uncontrolled bleeding. The key isn't to avoid spinach forever, but to understand when, how much, and how often you can eat it safely without sabotaging your treatment. Spinach. When good habits, backfire blood thinners like warfarin are carefully designed to do just enough, preventing dangerous clots that can cause strokes, heart attacks, or even sudden death. But when you consume too much vitamin K, especially in uneven amounts, it weakens warfarin's effect. Your blood thickens, your medication loses its power, and sadly, many seniors never realize this silent interaction is happening inside their bodies. I'll never forget one of my patients, Mrs. Ellie Thompson, a 72-year-old retired schoolteacher from Wisconsin. She came to me after suffering what's called a silent TIA, a mini stroke. By all appearances, she was doing everything right. Daily walks, no fried foods, no alcohol. But she also blended a green smoothie every morning with a heaping cup of raw spinach, thinking it was the best choice for her heart. When I checked her blood work, her INR levels, a measure of how long blood takes to clot, were dangerously low. Her blood had become too thick, dramatically raising her risk of a clot. She was stunned. No one had ever warned her that too much spinach could actually cancel out her medicine. The most unsettling part? She had no symptoms before the mini-stroke, just a daily smoothie that quietly stripped her medication of its ability to protect her. This isn't about blaming spinach. It's about balance and consistency. Eating spinach occasionally is fine. Your body can adjust. But suddenly adding it every day or cutting it out completely without telling your doctor can put you in serious danger. Here's what you need to know. Always let your doctor know if you're making changes to your diet, especially with greens. Eat spinach in moderate, consistent amounts, not in large or unpredictable servings. If you enjoy spinach, don't panic. Just include it thoughtfully and keep your INR checked regularly. Even the healthiest food can become harmful when your diet and medication fall out of sync. And unfortunately, most seniors only discover this risk after it's too late. Now, if spinach, a food long celebrated for heart health, can so easily interfere with life-saving medicine, what about the vegetables that don't just interfere, but actually burden your heart with something even more dangerous? The next one might surprise you. It's crunchy, tangy, probably sitting in your fridge right now, and it contains more sodium than a bag of chips. Stay with me, because this one may shock you. If you're still watching and finding these insights, valuable, type 1 in the comments to let me know you're with me. Now, let's move on to number 2. Pickled cucumbers. Pickled cucumbers. The salty trap. Tightening around your heart pickles. Crunchy, tangy, refreshing. For many older Americans, they're more than food. They're a memory. A side dish with a deli sandwich, a snack at Sunday lunch, a taste of nostalgia. They feel harmless, even healthy. After all, they start out as cucumbers, a vegetable. But here's the hidden truth. Those innocent slices on your plate may be quietly raising your blood pressure every single day and placing a dangerous burden on your heart. I think of Mrs. Evelyn, a warm-hearted 78-year-old widow who came to me struggling with high blood pressure. She had followed every bit of advice she'd been given. No fried foods, daily walks, even meditation. Yet her numbers stayed stubbornly high. "It doesn't make sense, Doc," she told me. "I gave up chips. I don't eat bacon anymore. I'm doing everything right." But when I reviewed her food diary, the answer jumped out at me. A generous serving of pickles with lunch, every day. Here's what most seniors don't realize. Pickled cucumbers aren't just cucumbers. They're cucumbers soaked in salty brine. Just a few slices can pack over 1,000 milliliters of sodium, more than 2/3 of the daily limit for older adults, in a single serving. And sodium, though it doesn't sound dangerous, is one of your heart's greatest enemies after age 60. Too much sodium makes your body retain water, increasing blood volume. That forces your heart to pump harder, raises blood pressure, stiffens arteries, and over time can trigger chronic heart failure. The scariest part? You often feel nothing until the damage is already done. In Evelyn's case, her daily pickle habit, combined with her aging kidneys, meant her body couldn't clear sodium as efficiently as it once did. Her heart was silently straining every single day. She noticed no warning signs, until one afternoon she felt sudden chest tightness and shortness of breath walking to her mailbox. That frightening episode led to a hospital stay and a diagnosis of early-stage congestive heart failure. This isn't just about pickles. It's about awareness. Sodium is hidden everywhere. Canned vegetables, store-bought soups, sauces, condiments. And here's the cruel irony. As we age, our taste buds become less sensitive to salt. That means you may not even realize you're consuming too much because it doesn't taste as salty as it once did. Many seniors cut back on sugar, fat, even red meat, but forget to watch sodium, the silent killer. The good news? You don't need to sacrifice flavor to protect your heart. Try seasoning with herbs like rosemary, thyme, or basil. Add a splash of lemon juice or vinegar for tang. These simple swaps give your food bold flavor without overloading your heart. Red chili peppers, the fiery ingredient. Fueling your heart's downfall after 60, your heart is still strong, but it isn't invincible. The foods that once added joy and comfort can now quietly place stress on a body that no longer bounces back as easily. And while most people focus on salt as the main hidden danger, there's another culprit, far spicier, that could be lighting a slow-burning fuse inside your chest. That culprit is the red chili pepper. For many of us, spice is more than flavor. It's tradition, family, and comfort. A little heat brings back memories. Backyard barbecues, gumbo in Grandma's kitchen, or a bowl of homemade chili passed down for generations. Crushed red peppers on pizza, hot sauce on eggs, jalapenos on burgers. It feels alive, familiar, and harmless. But for the aging heart, those fiery little peppers can do far more harm than good. Take Mr. Raymond, a 72-year-old retired firefighter from Kentucky who came to my clinic with chest palpitations and dizzy spells. A strong, stoic man, he proudly told me, Doc, I like it hot. Hot sauce on everything. Cayenne in my eggs. Jalapenos on my burgers. That's just how I eat. What Raymond didn't know, and what many seniors don't, is that the very heat he loved was overstimulating his cardiovascular system. Every single day. Here's the science. Red chili peppers contain capsaicin, the compound responsible for their burn. While capsaicin has some upsides, like mild pain relief or appetite control, it also triggers the sympathetic nervous system, the body's built-in fight-or-flight response. The result? A rush of adrenaline, faster heart rate, constricted blood vessels, and higher blood pressure. For a healthy 30-year-old, this reaction barely registers. But after 60, when arteries are stiffer and the heart less adaptable, these repeated surges can push the cardiovascular system into dangerous territory. In Raymond's case, his love of spice was putting his heart on high alert at nearly every meal. He wasn't being weakened by cholesterol or inactivity, but by the constant overstimulation of his food choices. We placed him on a 48-hour heart monitor, and the results were clear. After every spicy meal, his rhythm shifted into abnormal patterns, not enough to stop his heart, but enough to wear it down meal after meal, day after day. Raw garlic. When nature's medicine turns against your heart, garlic has held a sacred place in kitchens and medicine cabinets for generations. Folk healers and modern science alike have praised it for lowering cholesterol, reducing blood pressure, and thinning the blood. To many, it's nothing short of a natural miracle. I've lost count of how many times I've heard patients say, "Doc, I don't need pills. I take garlic every day. It's nature's cure." But here's what often goes unnoticed. Even nature has limits. And when combined with the wrong medication, or taken in the wrong form, garlic can shift from healer to hazard, especially for aging hearts. Take Mrs. Helen, a 76-year-old widow from Georgia, with a strong belief in home remedies. She came to my office one winter after experiencing 2 episodes of lightheadedness and even fainting while cleaning her kitchen. Her blood pressure was unusually low, and something clearly wasn't right. On paper, her medications looked perfectly appropriate. Lisinopril for hypertension and a low-dose aspirin for heart protection. But her blood work told another story. Her INR levels, a measure of how long it takes the blood to clot, were higher than normal. In plain terms, her blood was too thin. That's when she mentioned something she thought was harmless. I eat 2 raw garlic cloves every morning. Been doing it for years. What she didn't know, and what many seniors don't, is that raw garlic intensifies its natural blood-thinning effect. When combined with medications like aspirin, anticoagulants, or even certain blood pressure pills, it can push the balance too far. The result? Dizziness, fainting, dangerous bleeding, or in severe cases, life-threatening events. Raw garlic. When healing turns? Hazardous, Mrs. Helen had eaten 2 raw garlic cloves every morning for years. My mother swore by it, she told me proudly. Here's the truth. Raw garlic contains allicin, a powerful compound that works as a natural blood thinner. For someone not on medication, this effect might even provide cardiovascular benefits. But once you're over 60, and especially if you're already taking antiplatelet drugs like aspirin or anticoagulants such as warfarin or apixaban, that same effect can become dangerously amplified. The risk? Internal bleeding, frequent nosebleeds, black or tarry stools, unexplained fatigue, or in the worst cases, a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding inside the brain. Mrs. Helen's fainting wasn't caused by overexertion. It was her body waving a red flag. Her blood was so thin that her pressure dropped, leaving her heart unable to circulate blood effectively. She didn't feel pain, she didn't feel sick, and yet she was standing on the edge of a medical crisis. This is where age changes the equation. A younger body might buffer the effects of raw garlic, but with age, the liver metabolizes compounds. More slowly, the kidneys clear waste less efficiently, and the blood vessels grow more fragile. What once gave strength in your 40s can tip you into imbalance in your 70s. That isn't failure. It's biology. And recognizing it isn't weakness. It's wisdom. Garlic itself isn't the enemy. The danger lies in using it without context or communication. For seniors, the safest way to enjoy garlic is cooked and in moderation. Cooking reduces a allicin's potency but preserves much of its antioxidant power. And most importantly, always. Tell your doctor if you use garlic regularly, especially raw. With small adjustments, Mrs. Helen didn't have to give up her tradition. Instead of raw cloves, she began roasting garlic with her vegetables and stirring it into soups. Soon, her blood pressure stabilized, her dizzy spells disappeared, and she smiled at me, saying, "I didn't have to give up what I love. I just had to respect it." So many older adults trust garlic, and rightly so. But the key is understanding how it fits into your overall health picture. Food never works in isolation. It either supports your body or silently works against it. And if even something as familiar and trusted as garlic can quietly turn dangerous, what about foods that look fresh and pure on the outside, yet may carry bacteria your aging body can no longer fight off? Let's look at the next hidden risk. Raw sprouts, the innocent crunch that could break a senior's heart. They look so fresh, vibrant, and full of life. Raw sprouts, like alfalfa, mung bean, radish, or clover, are often marketed as the ultimate symbol of clean eating. You'll see them sprinkled over salads at trendy cafes, tucked into veggie wraps, or proudly displayed in the produce aisle with labels like superfood or gut-friendly. Raw sprouts, the innocent crunch that can endanger the heart for. Many health-conscious seniors tossing a handful of raw sprouts onto a sandwich or salad feels like a smart, heart-friendly choice. But what if that crisp, innocent garnish carried the very bacteria your aging immune system can no longer fight? What if it quietly triggered an infection, one that could strike your heart from the inside? Let me tell you about George. At 68, this retired firefighter from Minnesota was proud of staying in shape. After his bypass surgery 5 years earlier, he had overhauled his lifestyle. No red meat, no sugar, plenty of water, and a salad every single day. He was doing everything right. But one afternoon, George was rushed to the ER with a high fever, confusion, and a racing heartbeat. It wasn't a stroke. It wasn't a heart attack. It was infective endocarditis, a dangerous infection of the inner lining of the heart. The culprit? Contaminated raw alfalfa sprouts he had eaten just days before. Here's the problem. Sprouts grow in warm, moist conditions, the same environment bacteria like E. coli, salmonella, and listeria thrive in. For younger people, that might mean nothing worse than a stomachache. But after 60, the immune system naturally weakens. The body responds slower, heals slower, and is less capable of neutralizing dangerous microbes. What begins as mild digestive discomfort in a younger adult can spiral into sepsis, dehydration, or a heart infection in a senior, especially in those with heart valve damage, pacemakers, or a history of cardiovascular disease. George had no idea that something so small could pose such a big risk. His infection required a month of IV antibiotics and several days in the cardiac care unit. Later, he told me, "I thought I was doing everything right, Doc. I didn't even know sprouts could make you sick like that." Sadly, George's story isn't unique. Outbreaks linked to contaminated sprouts appear every year, and yet they're still sold raw, without warning labels, leaving older adults at risk. Here's what every senior needs to remember. Raw doesn't always mean safe. Fresh doesn't always mean healthy. If you enjoy sprouts, you don't have to give them up completely. But they should be cooked, lightly steamed, sautéed, or tossed into a stir-fry. That simple step kills harmful bacteria while keeping much of the crunch and nutrition intact. You can still enjoy the flavor and benefits without putting your heart, your health, or your life on the line. We grew up believing that food from the earth couldn't hurt us, but times have changed, and so have our bodies. Today, your heart needs more than good intentions. It needs protection. And protection begins with knowing where hidden risks lie. When healthy vegetables turn harmful, the hidden danger of food and medication. Interactions. We've all grown up believing that if something is fresh, green, and straight from the earth, it must be good for us. And in most cases, that's true. But after 60, the story changes. Our bodies don't just react to what we eat, they react to how that food interacts with the medications we depend on to stay alive. What many seniors don't realize is that even the healthiest vegetables can become risky when paired with common heart drugs. Take Mrs. Diane, a 73-year-old retired teacher from Pennsylvania. She had been managing atrial fibrillation and mild heart failure quite well. She was active, she took her meds faithfully, beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, and a low-dose blood thinner, and she filled her plate with fruits and vegetables every day. But one afternoon, Diane came into my clinic weak, dizzy, and confused. Her heart rate was irregular. Her blood pressure had dropped to alarming levels. At first, it didn't add up until we reviewed her recent habits. She had started drinking large amounts of grapefruit juice and eating broccoli and Brussels sprouts almost daily, thinking she was supercharging her health. Instead, she was unknowingly disrupting the very medications that kept her heart stable. Here's why. Many drugs are processed in the liver by a group of enzymes called CYP450. Grapefruit, broccoli, and even green tea can interfere with this system, either blocking or overstimulating it. Think of your medication as designed to enter, do its job, and exit your body in a carefully timed rhythm. When certain foods step in, that rhythm is thrown off. In Diane's case, her medications built up in her bloodstream instead of being cleared normally. The result? Her heart rate dropped too low, her blood pressure plummeted, and she nearly fainted. And this isn't rare. Plenty of nutritious foods can change how heart medications work. Leafy greens like kale, spinach, and Brussels sprouts are high in vitamin K, which can weaken the effect of blood thinners. Potassium-rich vegetables like tomatoes, potatoes, and squash can push potassium levels dangerously high if you're on ACE inhibitors or potassium-sparing diuretics. Even something as simple as grapefruit juice can cause certain heart drugs to build up to toxic levels. It's not that these foods are bad, it's the combination that creates the danger. A small serving here and there is usually fine, but daily, high-volume consumption can shift your body's delicate balance and put your heart at risk. The takeaway is simple but powerful. Food and medicine don't act in isolation. They work together or against each other. Protecting your heart isn't just about eating more vegetables. It's about knowing which vegetables, how often, and how they interact with the prescriptions you already take. Raw cabbage, the healthy vegetable that quietly pressures your heart and lungs. Raw cabbage has become a staple in many senior diets. On the surface, it seems like a smart choice: light, crunchy, low in calories, and easy to throw into a salad or slaw. It carries the image of clean eating and often replaces heavier sides on health-conscious menus across America. But for the aging body, especially those managing heart or lung conditions, raw cabbage may not be the friend you think it is. In fact, it can quietly increase pressure inside your body, pressing against your heart and lungs from the inside out. I met Mr. Leonard, a 75-year-old retired truck driver from Missouri, during a routine cardiac checkup. He had been making big changes, cutting back on junk food, losing weight, and proudly preparing homemade cabbage salads every day with vinegar and olive oil. He felt good about his choices. But Leonard had also started noticing troubling symptoms: bloating, tightness in his chest after meals, shortness of breath when lying down. At first, he dismissed it as indigestion, or maybe just age catching up with him. But when I examined him, it was clear this wasn't just about digestion. His symptoms were cardiopulmonary. Here's why. Raw cabbage, like other cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts, is packed with complex fibers that are difficult to break down. For younger digestive systems, this usually isn't a problem. But in seniors, slowed digestion and reduced gut efficiency often lead to significant gas and bloating. That bloating isn't just uncomfortable. It can physically push upward on the diaphragm, making it harder for the lungs to expand and the heart to fill completely between beats. In Leonard's case, his raw cabbage habit was literally crowding his chest cavity, forcing his heart and lungs to work harder than they should. The takeaway is not that cabbage is bad, it's that preparation matters. Steaming, sautéing, or lightly braising cabbage breaks down those tough fibers, making it easier to digest and gentler on both the stomach and the cardiovascular system. Cooked cabbage still delivers antioxidants, vitamins, and fiber, without putting extra pressure on your chest. For seniors, the difference between raw and cooked can mean the difference between nourishment and strain. Canned vegetables. The healthy food, quietly sneaking salt into your heart. For many seniors, canned vegetables seem like a safe, practical choice. Green beans, sweet corn, peas, sitting neatly in the pantry, ready for a quick meal. They feel convenient, affordable, and even responsible. After all, they're vegetables, not fast food. They must be good for you, right? Not always, especially after 60, when your heart and blood vessels become far more sensitive to hidden salt. Canned vegetables can quietly sabotage your best intentions. Take Mr. Roy, an 83-year-old widower from rural Georgia. He was proud of living independently, cooking simple meals and avoiding fried or greasy foods. On paper, his diet looked fine. But when I reviewed his medical chart, I noticed a troubling pattern. His blood pressure was creeping higher month after month, despite medication. He also complained of swelling in his ankles and occasional shortness of breath. At first, he couldn't understand why. "Doc, I don't add salt to anything. Haven't in years," he told me. But then we looked deeper into his grocery list, and there it was. Canned vegetables, dozens of servings each week. Here's the issue. Most canned vegetables are preserved in salty brine. A single cup of canned green beans can contain 500–700 milligrams of sodium. Corn and peas often contain even more. For someone over 60, where the daily sodium limit should ideally stay below 1,500 milliliters, just one could take up half or more of the day's safe intake. Excess sodium makes your body hold on to water, increasing blood volume and putting extra strain on the heart. Over time, that silent pressure leads to stiffened arteries, rising blood pressure, swelling in the legs, and in some cases, congestive heart failure. Mr. Roy had no idea his healthy pantry staples were working against him. Once we switched him to low-sodium or no-salt-added canned options and encouraged fresh or frozen vegetables whenever possible, his blood pressure improved, his swelling went down, and he felt stronger climbing the stairs at home. The truth is, canned vegetables aren't inherently bad. They can be part of a heart-healthy diet if you rinse them thoroughly under water before eating. Or better yet, choose the no-salt-added versions. The problem isn't the vegetable, it's the sodium hiding in the can. For seniors, food choices aren't just about convenience. They're about protecting the heart from unnecessary strain. What feels small in a can becomes heavy inside your arteries. Overdoing heart-healthy vegetables. When too much of a good thing turns risky, we've all heard it since childhood. Eat your vegetables. And for the most part, that's sound advice. But as with so many things in life, balance matters. What nourishes you in moderation can become harmful in excess, especially after 60, when your body processes food differently than it once did. Take Roy, for example. He thought he was doing everything right, stocking up on vegetables, avoiding obvious junk food, and cooking at home. But just as hidden sodium in canned goods worked against him, there's another layer of risk. Even the healthiest vegetables can backfire if we overdo them or rely on ones that have lost nutritional value. As we age, digestion slows. Kidneys work less efficiently, and blood sugar control becomes more fragile. Eating oversized portions of starchy vegetables like corn or peas can cause sudden spikes in blood sugar. Loading up on superfood greens without variety can lead to imbalances, too much of one nutrient and not enough of another. And vegetables that sit too long, whether in a pantry, fridge, or even on a grocery shelf, gradually lose vitamins, leaving you with calories but fewer protective compounds. The tricky part is that none of this feels obvious. You don't taste the missing vitamin C in that old bag of spinach. You don't immediately feel the blood sugar spike from a large bowl of sweet peas. You don't realize your extra healthy plate might actually be stressing your heart, instead of supporting it, until fatigue, swelling, or lab results tell the story. The solution isn't to fear vegetables. It's to eat them wisely. Rotate your choices. Favor freshness or frozen options that retain nutrients. Watch portion sizes, especially with starchy varieties. And remember, in this stage of life, more isn't always better. Vegetables are powerful allies, but only when eaten with balance, variety, and awareness. Because even nature's best foods can quietly become a burden if we ignore the signals our bodies are sending. The vegetables that truly support your heart. After 60. By the time you reach your 60s, your heart has already beaten more than 2 billion times, quietly carrying you through decades of work, family, and everyday life. It has given you its best without asking for much in return. Now the question becomes, what foods can you give back to your heart that truly help it keep going strong? The answer isn't piling your plate with endless superfoods or eating the same handful of greens day after day. It's about choosing vegetables that are gentle, steady, and balanced, supporting your heart without overwhelming your kidneys, digestion, or medications. Vegetables like zucchini, green beans, carrots, Bell peppers, cucumbers, and leafy greens like romaine or butter lettuce offer fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins without the high potassium overload or oxalates that can stress the body after 60. They help regulate blood pressure, keep digestion smooth, and reduce inflammation, all while being easier to tolerate in senior digestion. Cooking. Methods also matter. Light steaming, roasting, or sautéing often make vegetables easier to digest and unlock more nutrients, compared to eating them raw in large amounts. A mix of colors on your plate, orange carrots, green beans, red peppers, not only makes meals more enjoyable, but also ensures you're feeding your body a wide spectrum of protective compounds. The key lesson is this. After 60, it's not about how much you eat, but how wisely you eat. Balance, rotation, and moderation protect your heart far better than overloading on any single food. Your body now is like a classic car. It still runs beautifully, but it requires careful fuel, not excess. Feed it gently, consistently, and with awareness, and it will reward you with more strength, more clarity, and more years of independence. Because true heart health after 60 doesn't come from chasing extremes. It comes from steady choices, every day, that respect the incredible work your heart has already done for you. Now, in these golden years, your heart is asking for something different from you. Wisdom. Not the kind that comes from health fads or flashy magazine covers, but the wisdom that grows from truly understanding your body's changing needs. After 60, everything shifts. Your metabolism slows. Digestion becomes more sensitive. The way your body absorbs nutrients and medications is no longer the same. Your arteries lose flexibility. Your kidneys filter more slowly. Foods that once worked for you at 40 may now be quietly working against you. But that doesn't mean food becomes the enemy. Quite the opposite. When chosen carefully, food can still be your most powerful medicine. Take the story of Mrs. Ruby, an 83-year-old retired nurse from Georgia. She came to me with borderline high blood pressure and constant fatigue. She wasn't on any major medications yet, and she wanted to keep it that way. "I've spent my life caring for others," she told me. "Now it's time to care for myself." Together, we built meals around vegetables that didn't just look healthy on the outside, but had been proven to gently support aging hearts without overwhelming the body. Within 3 months, Ruby's energy returned, her blood pressure stabilized, and most importantly, she felt peace of mind. Here's what we focused on: steamed broccoli and green beans. Both are low in sodium, high in fiber, and rich in antioxidants that calm inflammation in the arteries. When lightly cooked, they're easy to digest and safe alongside common heart medications. Green beans especially are underrated. They provide steady amounts of potassium and magnesium, which help regulate blood pressure without the overload risk of other potassium-rich foods. Cooked carrots. Sweet, familiar, and comforting, carrots are rich in beta-carotene to support blood vessel health. Their natural sweetness helps reduce cravings for salty or processed snacks. Roasted or gently boiled, they make a soothing side dish that feels satisfying, not restrictive. Zucchini with olive oil and herbs. Mild, hydrating, and light. Zucchini delivers vitamin C and soluble fiber for cholesterol control. Because it's low in oxalates, it's also a kidney-friendly choice for seniors. Sweet potatoes in moderation. Their vibrant orange color signals powerful antioxidants and steady energy from complex carbohydrates. Baked rather than fried, they provide slow-burning fuel that helps stabilize blood sugar without burdening the heart. Cooked tomatoes. When cooked, tomatoes release lycopene, a potent antioxidant shown to support healthy blood vessels and improve circulation. This makes them more than just a colorful addition. They're a quiet protector of your arteries. Lycopene, found in cooked tomatoes, supports the lining of your blood vessels. It's been linked to a lower risk of heart disease, and when paired with a little olive oil, your body absorbs it even better. Finally, we reintroduced kale, but only gently sautéed and in small, steady portions. Raw kale can interfere with certain medications, but lightly cooked, it becomes a rich source of vitamins A and C plus fiber. In this form, it supports arterial health and helps reduce oxidative stress on the heart. The beauty of all these vegetables is that they share something important. They're gentle on digestion, low in sodium, high in fiber and antioxidants. Most importantly, they work with the aging body instead of against it. They don't overwhelm, they don't conflict, they quietly nourish, heal, and sustain. Mrs. Ruby still eats this way, and every time she comes in, she tells me, "I feel light. I feel steady. I feel like my body is working with me again, not against me." That's exactly what I want for you. Because these foods don't just protect your heart, they bring joy back to your plate. They restore trust between you and your body. And when you eat with intention, every bite becomes an act of love for yourself, for your future, and for the people who want to see you strong. So now that you know which vegetables truly belong in your kitchen, let's step back and take one. Last look at the bigger picture. Final reflection. Your heart still has time, and so do you. By the time you reach your 60s, 70s, or 80s, you've lived through more than most people could imagine. You've loved and lost. You've raised families, carried burdens, served your communities, and found your strength again and again. And through it all, your heart has been there, beating without pause, without complaint. It has asked for nothing, yet given you everything, but now it's asking for your attention. In my decades of caring for older adults, I've seen the same pattern repeat itself. People who survived life's greatest challenges, illness, loss, financial hardship, are often caught off guard by something as small as food. Yet after 60, food isn't just fuel anymore. It becomes part of your treatment, part of your story, part of your healing. Let me be honest with you. There is no perfect diet, no single miracle food. What I've learned, less from textbooks and more from my patients, is this. Small, consistent choices matter far more than grand, unsustainable ones. You don't need to eat like a monk. You don't have to give up pleasure. What you do need is to listen. Listen to your body and learn how to live in harmony with the changes that come with age. That's the secret no one tells you about growing older. Your body changes in ways that are subtle, invisible, and sometimes confusing. The same spinach that fueled you at 40 can now. The same spinach that once gave you strength can now interfere with your blood thinners. The pickles that added zest to your sandwich can quietly raise your blood pressure. Even garlic, trusted for generations, may become risky when combined with certain medications. But here's the good news. Your body is still listening. It's still healing. It's still capable of change. One of the biggest myths after 60 is believing it's too late. I can't tell you how many seniors sit in my office burdened with regret, saying, "I wish I had taken better care of myself earlier." Yet when they start making small changes, more water, less salt, more awareness, less guesswork, things shift. Blood pressure improves. Energy returns. Sleep deepens. Clarity sharpens. It's never too late to protect your heart. Not at 60, not at 75, not even at 90. But it starts with a mindset shift. Stop viewing your diet as punishment or restriction, and start seeing it as a daily act of love toward the body that has carried you faithfully through the decades. This isn't about perfection. It's about participation. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Simply begin by asking one question at each meal. Is this feeding my heart, or is it working against it? And if you don't know the answer, that's okay. That's why your doctors, caregivers, and community are here, to walk this journey with you. The truth is, your greatest tool isn't youth, it's wisdom. You already know life is fragile. You've said goodbye to loved ones. You've seen what happens when health is neglected. You've learned, sometimes painfully, that strength is not guaranteed. And now, you have the chance to choose differently. Not from fear, but from respect for your body, your time, and the life you still want to live. Your heart still has time. Time to grow stronger. Time to heal. Time to keep showing up for the people who love and need you, your grandchildren, your partner, your friends, your community, and yes, yourself. And this isn't just about avoiding a heart attack. It's about living with more freedom, more energy, fewer medications, less pain. It's about walking to the mailbox without feeling winded, about playing cards without the fog of fatigue, about enjoying meals without worrying they'll harm you. That is the power of small, intentional choices. So I'll leave you with this. Your next heartbeat is a gift. So is your next meal. So is your next chance to say, I choose to take care of myself today. Not for perfection, not for appearance, but for the sacred responsibility of honoring the life you still have left to live. Let's start there, together, one wise bite at a time. Take a moment to reflect and share one insight you're taking with you today and how you plan to apply it in your own life. Together, we can support each other on this journey of living with more awareness and strength. If you found this video helpful, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0 and let me know how I can do better for you. Your feedback truly matters. And before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another tip designed to help you live fully, confidently, and on your own terms. Thank you for watching. Here's to a healthier, stronger you.